Let's do it. What's up, you guys? Welcome to another episode of this podcast. I've been teasing it for quite a while, and I'm kind of sneaking into it, but we're going to start doing 90210 episodes.
Yes.
We're doing a rewatch. I don't think we're going to change the name, though I did come up with some names. 90210 Hoes was one.
Of which I am one.
Yes, exactly,
Yeah.
which we are.
I subscribe.
Yes, but for now, I think we're going to call it Glitter and Garbage into the Spellingverse.
That one, yeah, okay, yes.
Just so we have, it can be broad, it can still be glitter and garbage. I know everyone loves Caroline Goldfarb. We can have her on for commercial break episodes and talk
What
about
is that?
current
Oh,
stuff.
yeah,
So
totally.
I'm figuring it out, but I've just been called to talk about 90210. Everyone has a calling, and this
Yeah.
is mine.
You have to trust your gut, listen to the vibration. You
Exactly.
need all of that. Follow your path of least resistance.
Exactly. Path of least resistance, following your bliss. Like for me, I've just been noticing the past couple months, everything I just want to talk about 90210. Like it's the most exciting thing to me.
Everything's coming up West Beverly.
It is. Everything is coming up West Beverly Wildcats. So let's get into it. You watched the pilot, and thank you because
Yes.
it's an extended episode.
Hour and a half.
Hour and a half. I believe it aired on two separate nights.
Oh, like
or
to
in
be
two parts.
continued?
I think it was
Yeah.
in two parts
Yep.
when it originally aired. Maybe I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that. But it was called The Class of Beverly Hills.
Yeah,
Yes.
yes.
Created by Darren Star. I believe Aaron Spelling was already attached to produce when they approached Darren. And wow, it's so interesting to watch the pilot.
The pilot killed me.
The pilot is so funny.
It honestly, obviously you could trim a half an hour from it. You don't need it.
Yes.
But there's so much to introduce.
So many like plot lines and characters and situations to introduce.
Some of which don't last past the pilot.
Exactly.
There's a lot that doesn't make it out of the pilot.
It's so true. And a lot changes from the pilot. I have a whole list of things that change from the pilot to the rest of the series.
But so there's a lot. When I first started, 90210 came out when? 92?
I'm so glad you asked. It originally premiered on October 4th, 1990, which our last episode that we did together a couple weeks ago
Oh, yeah.
randomly came out on October 4th.
Shut up.
So that's why I was like, this is a sign.
You've been called.
I've been called.
Oh, I didn't know that. Really?
Yes. And so I felt like, okay, this feels like a sign.
So so you said 92?
90.
It's 1990?
1990. It ran from 90 to 2000.
So I actually can't believe. Okay, so my parents were right. I should not have been watching that at that age because I was 8.
8. And I didn't start until probably season 2 or end of season 1.
What you want, puppy?
Excuse me.
There's a dog here.
Yeah. Lammy is here. He's a huge Brandon fan. Okay, yeah, let's talk.
I can't believe I was 8, but I watched this from the jump because
Okay,
it had.
So did you watch the pilot live?
In my memory, yes.
Okay.
Because I was obsessed. I was watching The Simpsons and things on Fox, even though I wasn't supposed to be.
Yeah.
But there was something about it that was like attractive.
Yeah.
Because the whole thing, like all the demographics, right, that they're trying. If we want to appeal to teens, what they're really appealing to are the people who want to be teenagers,
Yes.
which are 8 and 9 and 10-year-olds.
Yes.
MTV, everybody does that kind
Yes.
of marketing. So I was actually prime target.
Oh, you were so, and I guess I was too. I started watching it like 7 or 8, probably a couple seasons in.
Yeah.
Also, by the way, I'm Justine Marino. This is Daniel Webb.
Oh,
I do
hi.
not think I introduced us. So we're off to a great start.
Well, I'm so excited because the eyes through which I viewed it first were
Yes.
of obviously a child's eyes.
Yes, same.
I was already obsessed with Hollywood.
Okay,
so there
same.
was a huge fame thing about it that I was attracted to, not knowing any of the actors.
Right.
And second, not having ever been to Los Angeles.
Right.
So now I'm a working comedian.
Yeah.
In and around famous people.
All the time.
And I live in LA.
Yes.
So, and I'm an old person.
Yeah.
I'm like 3 times the age I was last time, which is humiliating. Okay, so anyway, it's fascinating to see it through those eyes.
It's also been interesting for me because, like I said, I jumped in way too young. like probably season 2-ish. Right around maybe when Brenda lost her virginity to Dylan, I think around there.
Spoiler alert.
So sorry, you guys. I know we're only on the pilot, but I started the rewatch a couple months ago when Shannon passed. I was like, I haven't watched it in a while. And I was up like halfway through season 3. So now going back, I feel like I'm in this like Back to the Future, traveling back and forth between season 1 and 3. So it is interesting, just like, oh wait, Brenda doesn't have bangs yet in the pilot.
Not at all.
Brandon has a mullet. Let's start with that.
Okay, beautiful place to start, because he's kind of the star of the pilot.
He is the star of the pilot. And I just want to point out, I believe I've pointed this out before. He has top billing, which is odd to me. He's the first credited. He's the first name that appears in the intros. Like he was, I believe, first on the call sheet.
Technically, I think he was the biggest star at the time.
But he wasn't, is the thing.
Ooh.
Shannon Doherty had done
Little House on the Prairie.
But she had done Heather's, Little House on the Prairie, and a couple other.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun.
Girls Just Want to Have Fun. She had done major things. I believe Jason Priestley, and I know this because I listened to Shannon talk about this on Tori's podcast. And she talked about how, like, in retrospect, that was so strange that she definitely had bigger credits, I think. I think he had done like a sitcom in Canada.
He was Canadian famous, right?
Yes, exactly.
So I don't know if that translated, but that's also, I wonder if that's just like boy-girl.
I think I personally think it's boy-girl.
Yeah.
I think back then it was just like the guy would get...
He'll be the hunk, he'll be the star, he'll be the selling
Yes, a woman couldn't possibly... People wouldn't tune in for a woman.
Well, if you watch the early press, like I think I talked about last time, is like there's the group and then he is separate.
Yeah.
Because he was early to have movies and stuff.
He was.
I mean, Luke Perry was too, but out of everybody trying to be a breakout star, he was already the one.
My favorite Luke Perry movie?
What?
Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Oh, hardcore, yes.
Yeah, and my favorite thing about that is for...
Wait, no, Luke.
Luke.
Yeah.
When he's not hot, they have his hair brushed down, and
which
he
is
has
sexy.
a soul patch.
I think he's sexy when he has his hair
He
down.
is. It's like you can't make Luke Perry not look good.
Who we should go ahead and say he's not in the pilot.
He's not in the pilot. Great point.
Not
He's something that gets added later.
Because there's two. Well, okay, so Jason Priestley opens the pilot.
Yes, he does.
He's laying in bed and his alarm's going off, but his mullet is front and center.
His mullet is leading the charge. His mullet is top billing, if I'm being honest.
The ninth character, the ninth student.
It is. And he has the best first line ever. I did write it down.
Oh, yeah.
First day of school, strange city, new house, no friends. I'm psyched.
I'm psyched.
He's just doing that very 90s thing. Oh, here's the mullet. Thank you, Aaron.
Look at it right there.
Look at it. It's got volume. He's got a nice wave to it. It's like not straight, but not curly. I think this is a 5-star mullet, personally.
What's interesting is that Shannon Doherty doesn't have bangs in the pilot, but he does.
Exactly. They swap.
They change places. But that's it, puppy. There's no more.
I'm obsessed with the dog. You guys, we have Lammy here, and he's leaping
Lammy's
up.
Here, but he ate all the treats already.
He ate all the treats. He's a snacker. So his mullet is out the gate stealing the show. Also, we need to talk about the fact that the house is completely different.
House is different. The parents are different.
Okay, so Cindy is the same.
Same actress.
Oh, but their vibes are different.
Total psycho mom.
Yeah, she is. And then also the dad, this is a very little known fact. You guys, I did research for this podcast.
Oh, yes.
And the dad was actually originally played by someone else, another guy, and then they completely I think he was in Ferris Bueller, I believe. Yes, there he is, right there. This was the original dad in 90210. I don't know what happened to this guy. They reshot James Eckhouse's scenes.
Oh, that's so cold.
Isn't that crazy? So I don't know, maybe let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Maybe he was busy and could not
a medical situation.
Yeah,
he had a medical emergency and had to leave. That's got to it happens all the time, right?
It
happens
does.
everything. Like the pilot of Roseanne, the DJ, the boy, the little kid is different.
Well, in this it's all Kelly's mom is different in this.
Oh, Kelly's mom is psycho.
Completely different.
The parents have a really different vibe.
They do.
And like I said, so I was a fucking FAG when I was a kid, and I loved old Hollywood.
Yeah.
So I was obsessed with their, particularly like early television.
Yes.
So I had a book mostly about early TV, and then they had the last chapters about TV now.
Yeah.
And one of the only shows they could reference was Beverly Hills 90210, which was early on.
Interesting.
But they did have it listed as a sitcom, which It's funnier than The Bear. I'll say that.
Yeah, no, it is.
There's way more laughs than in 90210 than in The Bear.
Agree.
But but it is quirky from the jump.
It's so funny because watching this, one of the notes I wrote down was that they try to do so many more jokes and bits.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's this part in the principal's office where they're really trying to make the principal character happen.
Oh, yeah.
It clearly does not, because shortly later he's replaced by Mrs. Teasley.
Who's a much better actress.
Yeah, I agree.
And effective character.
I agree. But it almost feels like they're trying to make this principal like the comic relief. Like I feel like they're always trying to do bits with him after the kids leave his office.
Yes.
Like after he's talking to Brandon and Brenda, they leave and he has this like woman, his secretary or whatever, come in with this student who looks 45. As they all do. And he's like this leather daddy.
He's in which it's fashion now.
It is fashion now. But the secretary goes, I explained to him about the new leather rules, and it was like they were totally trying to do a joke.
Yes,
and I was like, that's cute.
And first of all, the guy's covered in spikes. I'm like, there's no rule against spikes. Yeah. he's a punk rocker essentially. That's okay. The thing, the most noticeable thing is from the intro, right? I mean, at first they're at the house. I don't want to jump it, but when they get to the school,
we get to the school,
and even everybody getting dressed. Everything about this now is total fashion.
Oh yes.
There's not one. Like, even when they're trying to make someone a nerd, it's very wearable today.
I would wear it today. Yes. I would wear all of Scott's outfits today.
Because Shannon Doherty, of course, because she's a teenage girl, is panicking about what to wear. She's nothing.
Like, it's my first day of school, and I don't even have the right hair.
Yes.
I'm just going to reenact all the lines.
Well, because they're setting this really tone. And the other thing that is common throughout the show, but this episode it's really noticeable, is that Brandon and Brenda are super flirty with each other.
I don't want to jump to the end, but she like gets in bed with him and she's not wearing pants.
It's gross, but at the beginning they do, because he's all like, "Hey, Brian, remember when you wore that halter top to so and so's birthday party?"
Yes.
I'm like, why is your brother giving you fashion advice?
Yes.
Like, that's.
I agree. Very weird. There was a very incestuous kind of relationship between them.
But they're twins.
They're twins, so they have a special thing that none of us can understand. And I get it. Look, if Jason Priestley was my twin brother, I might try to hit it.
You'd want to, well, yeah, especially if he's of Canadian descent, and you're clearly she's from Little House on the Prairie.
But what I also love is like, can we talk about how none of them have a Minnesota accent? Like that is an accent that is very distinct. And none of them have. Brandon almost has this like East Coast New York, like.
The mom has no accent. The dad has no accent.
Not an accent within earshot.
And they're not even. Brenda has the like skin tone of a Midwesterner.
Yes, she does.
I'll say that. She has that like kind of like rosacea-y.
Yes.
You know when you're hot but you've been inside?
Yes, exactly. She's an inside hot girl.
But I will say the thing that really swung the pilot into action is after you. Well, okay, the mom doesn't even have a line in the first scene.
No, the mom literally has no line.
He goes, "Where's the toaster?" And she hurls a box at him.
Cindy has no lines.
And she looks nuts.
Cindy looks insane.
She does. They don't, and her character evolution is wholesome, sweet.
Yep.
The mom to go to.
Yeah.
But at first they make her look like frantic weird mom.
Yes, she does. She totally does. And then Jim is just like, we've shot his scenes outside. You know, we've reshot all his scenes.
Okay, so does he have? He's alone and okay, you gotta stop.
He has a scene. There's one scene because I had read that he's actually was not with any of the cast when they reshot. But that's not true, because there is one scene with him and Brandon at the dinner table. But I did think that was very interesting. So
my favorite thing is in the first 2 seconds they mention a SIG alert.
Oh.
Which, as an LA person, I was like, that's so funny.
That's so funny. I didn't even catch that.
They're like, he's listening to the radio or whatever, or the TV is on in the morning. He's like, there's a SIG alert on the 405, and he's like, hey, I gotta run. It's gridlock out there.
Oh, that makes sense. LA, knowing.
What's her name? What's the mom's name?
Cindy Walsh.
And Jim Walsh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you know, though, I told you, I offered you.
Yes.
The music, as I found out, which I didn't know until Ian told me when he was on the pod, the music, every episode had to be recut with new music, because this deal was done so long ago that it did not cover the music clearance deal did not cover the music like in perpetuity. So even allegedly, even on the DVDs, it's different music, and that it was so funny watching it with Mitch, not knowing that because there was one like ice skating scene where they full on have a Blink 182. It sounds like a Blink 182 like
elevator music
yes,
version.
Exactly. That's exactly. And I was like, this doesn't even sound like of the era.
Yeah.
But Mitch is such a sleuth. He found a hacker who somehow has like fully went on the dark web and found a hacker that was able to get us the whole series with the original music in it.
What?
We'll give you access. Because I will.
You own every episode. It's in your possession.
It's in my possession, and I did go back and I compared because the opening scene in the one I watched with the original music is this like punk sounding 90s song on the radio.
Yeah.
Whereas if I went back and watched the YouTube clip and it is this very just generic 90s sounding electric guitar riff.
So, okay, I was watching it on Pluto TV, which is free, but the music is just noticeable. It's part of it. There's a lot of weird music like soundtracking to it.
Yeah.
But it does have an elevator music 90s.
That's what it is.
It's super generic.
Yes, it is.
Enough. But the one thing I love is when they after you meet the parents, they're going to school, just as they're getting into the car, that's when you hear the theme song.
Yes.
And it's 5 minutes long.
Okay, I wanted to point out, I feel this could have been 1 hour of an episode.
Yes.
If they had cut down on the musical montages, there are like 19 full songs with just B-roll.
Yes.
And I think I sent Aaron you a shot of B-roll that was from something you pulled from me. It's like
the
4
dancers.
People dancing.
That's just and this is in the beginning.
It's
when
in the beginning. But what I love is B-roll of no one who's on the show. It's just extras galore.
Yes,
Here
these
it is.
guys.
Yes.
I would love to have been like, look at them. It's first day of school. Nobody was dancing.
But look at all the vests. There are so many vests in this show. I started a count. I don't know if I included these. I did get 4 vests in on my count, but I'm sure I missed some.
Oh, the vest count has got to be high.
Let's do a vest count.
I want to do make it a drinking game or something.
Vest count and then boom mics. There are boom mics.
Shut up.
Later in season 1, it's boom mic city. So we should do a drinking game where every time there's a boom mic.
Are you serious?
Oh, there are so many.
It's that bad?
It's Mitch. Mitch and I started a running count of how many.
The shadow of the boom mic or the actual boom mic?
No, the actual boom mic.
Oh my God.
It is hilarious.
Fox was real ramshackle in the early days.
Was.
You gotta understand.
They
didn't have a budget. Yeah, this was one of the things that gave them money.
Well, also we meet. So they get to school and we meet the kids. Right? They drive in there. Brandon, just to give us an idea of okay, the Walshes are moving. They're very salt of the earth.
They're flyover states.
They're not rich like the other kids, but they're well off enough. I mean, I'm like, how could you possibly afford that house in Beverly Hills?
They own a Spanish-style house in Beverly Hills.
I'm like, you're rich. But Brandon drives a fucking
Is it a gremlin? What is it?
Hatchback. Is it a gremlin?
It's I think it's one of those cars.
It is. It's fully a brown hatchback. Like, they're like, how can we make it just so clear that these kids are not Beverly Hills kids?
Because also they give the teachers crappy cars.
Oh, yeah.
And so it looks like a teacher car.
It does look like a teacher car. And then you pull up and we got Steve. He's pulling in his Corvette.
Well, there's a valet. First of all,
of course,
the high school has a valet.
Of course,
which that's the kind of acting work I want to do. I want to be like, have you seen the pilot of 90210 where they have a valet? That was me. Like that's the kind of that's what I want my reel to be. It basically is anyway. I don't know why I'm saying I want to.
The valet.
Yes. Well, the same as later they're at dinner. I don't want to spoil it, but when Brenda's at dinner.
Oh yeah.
With what's his face and it's
Jason.
going down.
Yeah.
There's a moment where the waiter goes. And walks away. He doesn't say anything, and I want that to be my acting career.
Yes,
who's wearing a vest?
I love it. Vest. So
that's number 5.
There's definitely more than 4 vests in here. I was, guys, just so you know, I was very violently high when watching this.
Okay, so they get to school.
They get to school. We see there's valet. They're spoiled. This is not like a normal school. It's rich kids in Beverly Hills,
and it's fashionable.
Like
I'm telling you, even the nerd look is
hot,
so wearable today.
Very, very wearable. I don't even know where there are so many things introduced in this episode. So let's just kind of go through with the characters. We meet Steve. He comes in on his vet. He runs into Kelly, who's driving a green BMW that later turns into a red BMW.
Oh, it does?
Yes. That's what I'm saying is there are so many things.
I didn't know.
There are so many continuity things in this. And also, I just have to say, I was so confused rewatching recently.
That's really funny.
Well, because Brenda says, we're juniors this year, but in my mind I'm like, there's definitely 3 years of high school. So I did some research. I went down Reddit. They definitely do junior year twice on this show.
Shut up.
Yes, they should have started as sophomores because here's the thing. David and Scott are freshmen and they're supposed to be juniors, but then he only has to skip one grade to graduate with them. So it's just, I think they
really did the math.
I did the math. Really? I'm doing the math, and the math is not mathing.
Oh, really fast. What I want to say before is on their way to school, the credits are rolling.
Oh, yes.
And I don't know if you noticed this, but in order, it goes Carol Potter, Tori Spelling, James Eckhouse.
Oh.
So they've separated Tori Spelling from the cast of kids and wedged her in between the two parent roles.
Well, and also Scott is and I'm being such an asshole because I don't know the actor's name.
Yeah, me neither.
Because he wasn't on very long. But it seems like they intended for him and David to be like the nerdy kids.
I think he was a main character didn't last.
Yeah, he did not last.
Correct. Because he's heavily featured in this episode.
He is. And I think they just realized like, oh, let's just make David cool.
Because he is.
Because he is and he's hot.
Lots of my opinions, my original opinions of what I thought was 90210 have shifted a lot just since watching the pilot.
Isn't it crazy to rewatch now? Yes. As an adult with so much more life experience, actually having lived high school. Because when we both first watched it, we hadn't.
I thought these people were adults. Like watching the 90210, I was like, this is what life is like. Like I totally thought that's what adults did. You know?
To be fair, they do all look 30. But
they are 30.
Like, I'm sorry, Andrea, I cannot get over. Like, just watching now, she looks so much like when we're younger, they all look just older than us, right? But now that you know
she's an adult.
Yes,
she's of voting age.
So crazy.
And that actually ties into the intro because everyone is showing up in their hot to trot cars.
Yes.
And Andrea shows up on the bus.
So you know she is not like the other kids at this school.
She has a story, a struggle.
But I do love, speaking of struggles, Kelly Taylor had one as well. She formerly had a bad nose that she has since corrected with rhinoplasty. And Steve, the first thing he says is, you got a nose job. And we're all admiring her nose job, which I don't think Jenny Garth got a nose job, but damn, she has a good nose. Like, I'm like, that is good casting.
Her face is cute as a button, right?
She's so cute. Even though I fucking hate the Dylan Kelly stuff that will be coming later. Spoiler alert.
But she's like, well, they give it to you early, and the way that she meets Brenda is that she is shady and manipulative and
serving.
That's it.
Yes.
Yeah. Or she's in survival mode the whole time.
She is always in survival mode, and you know, she has a rough run this 10 seasons.
Especially when someone like Steve Sanders is your ex. I'm sure he's not easy to deal with.
I know.
So you have to be protective.
I know.
But I do love that in the intro and getting into school is that they still try to highlight the teachers.
Oh, I know.
Like they really try to roll them out.
They do.
In like that. Oh, you want to know what they're up to, and the whole story is you don't ever give a shit about the teachers. They're so boring.
That's obviously. I think I don't know how much further they go after the pilot, to be honest, because they have the principal with the Spanish
Which
teacher.
Is so dumb. I can't.
Also, this Spanish teacher is so strict. No one can speak English in her class.
No.
Not even the delivery guy later in the episode. She's like, you must speak Spanish.
Also, she has this like side braid. Like she has to look like a senorita like every time. Like her.
I thought the same thing.
Like she can't have like an English speaking hairdo.
No.
It has to always be like she's carrying like a basket of maize. Or some bullshit. But the other teacher is the chemistry teacher.
The weird guy?
Yeah.
Who's like playing music at one point?
He's like a classical psycho. Anyway, my chemistry teacher was just like that guy.
Really?
Yes.
But he's another one that I thought they were trying to use as like a comedic relief.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, because I think too, like, I think adults think you need a teacher, like, oh, I'll roll our eyes at the nerdy teacher. Yeah. Meanwhile, we just don't want to even see him.
Yeah, no, we don't even want to know they exist. We don't want to think about him.
They have close-ups on him, and he's a very hairy man, unkempt. I mean, as I speak with a beard, but his is like mossy. It's gross.
It's very mossy.
And he gets in their faces and talks really quiet. and
does.
has all these like he has intimacy issues.
He does. He absolutely does.
And boundaries issues.
Brenda meets Kelly in his class,
Yes.
right? And what I love is Kelly they become friends because this woman who looks 40, who's maybe not as attractive as the other.
She looks like a bull. I actually, my first thought was that's who I want to be for Halloween. That was my very first thought was I want to be the bully girl from 90210.
She looks like a textbook, but she looks like if Buzz from Home Alone was a woman going to West Beverly High.
Have you ever seen Rosie O'Donnell's like Tonight Show appearance?
No.
That's what she looks like.
Okay, great. So yeah, so she's you know, she's got a tough look about her.
Yeah.
I believe she's might be wearing a vest, and Kelly looks terrified.
No, it's like a blazer. It's like a watermelon colored blazer.
Yes. Okay.
Yeah.
Yes. And Kelly doesn't want that. Kelly spots Brenda coming in looking like, you know, a deer in headlights. And she's like,
that girl.
That girl's sitting with me. And then immediately she's like, are you smart? I'm going to cheat off of you.
How can I use you to my advantage,
Exactly.
right?
I'm so glad you mentioned that.
Yeah, it's like which actually that totally happened to me. There was a jock in my history class, and he totally turned around and he goes, "You're gonna like give me all the answers, right?" And I remember looking at him like, "You don't know I'm an idiot too? Like I don't know what made you think I was smart." What was that guy's name? I want to rat him out.
Oh, that's so good though. I feel like I didn't run into that so much in school, but like in projects in life, I have had a lot of people like jump on and be like, "Oh, let me hop on with you. You'll do all the work and I'll just take half the credit."
Yeah, I was like half bullied.
Oh, that's good.
I would be bullied, but then like defended.
Good.
That same kid, I got an answer right in school, and that kid turned around and goes, and I never got anything right. I was a C student.
Yeah.
There was nothing ace about me, like
Yeah.
not a single thing. And I answered something out loud correctly, which also never happened. And this asshole turns around and goes, "Well, good job, Daniel Webb," or something like that. Something simple. And then this girl, LaTanya Harding, which was her name.
LaTanya Harding.
That's her name. Hardy. So everything was really close, but not Tanya Harding.
Wow, LaTanya Hardy. Okay.
And she's my Facebook friend. She's hilarious. But out of nowhere, we were not friends, but out of nowhere, she comes in and goes, "Man, why is everybody always picking on Daniel?" Which also was not happening, right? Yeah. So I was like, these two people have totally different narratives about what's going on. In his mind, I'm a straight A student who can help him win the game. And then in her mind, I'm this fucking abused poor thing that needs her to stand up for me.
That's so funny.
But anyway, I related to that hardcore.
Yeah.
He was like the Steve Sanders of my grade.
Look, I guess it was different for me because my best friend Megan was the one that like was popular and all the guys loved her, but she was also really smart. Like she was the smart one as well. Fucking bitch.
Yeah. See,
you know.
See, but I only had a friend like I never had someone with like seats taken experience.
Yeah, no, I didn't have that ever either. I mean, I guess in 7th grade, this girl decided this guy that she liked and I started chatting, and so she had everyone ice me out. It was very
What?
Yeah.
Kids are mean.
For like 6 months in 7th grade. All my friends stopped talking to me, and then out of nowhere, 2 of them just called and were like, "You want to go see Titanic?" And then we were best friends again.
Oh my God, that's why Titanic means so much to you.
It means so much.
That's why. It's because it's the ship was sunk, but you were reborn again.
I was reborn. I came back like
you left those bitches on the boat.
Yeah, I did.
You sailed
I was
to
like
a new life. Kids are mean.
They are. Kids are so mean.
I was mean, but kids were mean to me.
I was mean too. I later was a bit of a bully, and there is one girl I made cry who I still cannot remember her name and would kill to remember her name so that I can reach out and apologize. There's one girl I made cry who I don't regret at all. She was a bitch.
Yeah, it went both ways for sure, but I never acted like, especially at high school, I was not that way.
Yeah,
I don't think so. Some girl tried to read me on Facebook. She was like, he was in my journalism class and ruined my life every day. I was like, I never took journalism. So I don't know who's misremembering what.
Weird.
Stop barking.
Okay, well, speaking of journalism class.
This is my favorite part.
Andrea.
This is my favorite fucking part.
Meeting Brandon. Andrea obviously is the editor-in-chief of the West Hollywood Blaze, which is an award-winning, the top high school newspaper in the country.
In the nation. In the country.
Nation. First of all, did you have a high school newspaper?
We did.
I don't know if we did.
It was about 4 pages.
Yeah. I mean,
3 of the pages were advertisements for the local barber. And like, you know, the dentist who also sponsored your paper book wrap.
Yes.
Remember that?
Yes.
Can you stop?
Oh, the paper book wrap.
Right. So that was always the doctor, and then you open the paper. But I did have friends who worked on the paper.
Were any of them as intense about it as Andrea Zuckerman?
Okay, so Andrea Zuckerman's, first of all, she's like this hard-nosed editor who's been there for 25 years.
I know.
Like, what the fuck? It's my reputation on the line. I'm like, how long have you been in this class?
But also it's because she's 45 years old.
She's really selling that like, if I'm the one here, this is my job. I'm the one with the job to lose. Meanwhile, I'm like, this is your elective.
Yeah. Exactly. This is like, you don't have to be here.
No.
They're treating, she's like, it's long hours, Brandon. And what I love is she's like, it's nights and weekends. I'm like, what are you talking about? But my favorite thing is that she gives Brandon a test.
Yes.
And the test is, okay, you want to work on the paper. I have a story about the toxic waste situation, or you can report on the girls' water polo match.
But the toxic waste situation is on campus. Which nobody even, right? It's in it's like in the girls' tennis courts, right? Isn't it in some? It's on campus. I'm like, why isn't the school board doing something about
this? Sounds like a bigger issue
than just Brandon cracking the case.
Yeah, but also Brandon says water polo, and Andrea gets all like, ugh. And she just immediately is so sexually frustrated. Like you can feel that she is just.
She hasn't been laid since the Reagan administration.
No, she's flicking the bean to the West Hollywood Blaze every night.
So this is what I remember her having a sense of righteousness, but it's not until the whole episode plays out that I'm honestly like, who the fuck does Andrea think she is? Like, who is she? She's really trying to put this one guy into place because clearly he's the brunt of her sexual frustration.
Oh, absolutely. And this, of course, is the start of a very long, tumultuous will they, won't they.
It's worse than Ross and Rachel. And
it is.
The best thing is, in some scenes, she and Brandon both have the same bangs. When the wind is right, Brandon and Andrea have the same weird trim. I could kind of maybe do it.
Oh,
nah,
my
it's not long
God.
enough. But they have the weird.
Yes, the weird. Because hers.
Oh no,
so
I'm Dylan.
wispy.
I'm Luke Perry.
You're Luke. Oh my God, you're Luke Perry in Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the movie.
He's good. I just need the soul patch.
It's good though. You just need the soul patch. Oh my God, you would be so good as Luke Perry for Halloween with the soul patch.
Oh, I should shave that. No, everybody would think I was like a poor man's Tommy Lee.
No, it's fine. Okay, so we've met everyone. We have not yet met Donna. We don't really meet Donna this episode.
No.
We don't meet her for like halfway through the season.
Which is part of my attraction to her was her like she's
she's
aloof. Like you never get the full, because there's a moment.
She's aloof.
There's a moment where, speaking of continuity, and I don't want to jump around too much, but there's a moment where they're in Kelly's now red convertible.
Yes.
And it's the 5 girls, right?
Yeah.
It's Donna, Kathy, who are the other 2?
Yeah.
It's those 2. And then a scene later where they're driving and it's all of them, but they've somehow lost Donna.
So, I know. I noticed that as well.
All the same people. They ditched that bitch at the party.
Wait, so I thought the BMW was red in the first shot, but then when I was watching last night, when Kelly goes to pick her up to go to the underage club, it's green.
Again?
No, I don't know if it's just starts out green for the pilot, or did you notice that was
No,
red?
it's not red when she goes to school.
Okay, so
first shot, not red.
Okay, so it's green, I think, the whole pilot, and then at some point, maybe she just gets a new BMW.
I mean, maybe it's her crazy mom's car.
I think that might be the case.
The way they lay out the future, not only the character backstory, but clearly where it's going through those quick snippets, particularly with Kelly's mom.
Oh my God.
Where they're really trying to lay the groundwork for her being
little
into her own world, alcoholic, like whatever.
Lots of new guys in and out.
Yes, yeah. She hates Bob. What's his name? Bob?
Bob.
Yeah.
She hates Bob. Kelly cannot stand Bob.
You almost woke up Bob.
Oh, Lammy doesn't like Bob
Lammy is
either.
Kelly's mom.
Lammy hates Bob.
But the way they lay it out like that in this first episode, but Andrea's is the best.
Yes.
Because she's clearly all about that deadline.
Oh, she is all about the deadline. She takes this newspaper. It is like it's like she's working for the White House. That's the seriousness with which Andrea is approaching the high school newspaper.
Everyone's at West Beverly and she's in the West Wing. Like
she is in the West Wing. It truly feels that way.
But my favorite is how much of a hard nose she's putting Brandon to task immediately, like it's an actual job.
Yeah.
And the other thing is, the best thing is the sound effects in the background is all the.
Oh, I know, it's so
It's like
good.
a fucking newsroom.
It is so good.
Everyone is hard at work on their articles.
But also, it's like, Andrea, who would choose to write about toxic waste? Like, ew, you know?
Okay, I can't really speak for the women's water polo team, but have you ever seen the males water polo team in the Olympics?
No, is it good?
The hottest group of men you've ever seen.
And I'm sure the women are hot too.
I will objectify every sports team, right? I'm not ignorant about that. Like, I'll watch World Cup.
Yeah.
The Iranian team is the hottest group of men I've ever seen. Italian
so
team,
hot.
they're smoking.
Thank you.
But the water polo team, because it's all arms, so they have this crazy, weird, irrational upper body strength, which is kind of they're. It's not even a V shape. They're like they come to a point at their pelvis. So I'm with Brandon.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, I would say the water polo team also.
Yeah, I would also, because again, who wants to do an article about toxic waste on school campus? It's like, I don't give a shit.
Call the principal.
Exactly.
I don't think the deadline is what the issue is. It's like, y'all need to get that dealt with before the game,
Yes.
the water polo game. Because what if the toxic waste gets into the pool?
Exactly. But exactly before the water polo game. These could be interconnected.
Then the game is canceled.
Okay, wait. But then my favorite is at lunch. Oh, also we meet Dylan and Scott. I mean, not Dylan, David and Scott. And
Who's
David.
Fashion.
From
scene one.
From the jump. He's fedoras, cool sunglasses, vests over t-shirts.
Blazers, buttons. Everything about his t-shirt game is very cool, but so is Scott. Yeah. He, for nerddom, looks great.
He does look great. I agree.
There are people on Melrose right now who look like both of them.
I agree.
At this very second.
Melrose Avenue, not Melrose Place, the TV show.
Oh, yeah. We'll get to that later.
I know. We will get to that in the Spellingverse.
Yes.
15 years into this podcast, we'll get to
There's
Melrose
so
Place.
much.
So we meet them, and David is just like, he falls in love with Kelly right away. He fangirls over fucking Steve's mom. He's obsessed with Kelly and Steve's mom.
Which I totally forgotten about. Steve's being a child of a star. I totally forgot about that.
There's another thing about Steve. Do you remember? I won't spoil it if you don't remember it.
Oh, that not in the pilot, but we will learn later.
Yeah. Do you remember?
No.
Okay, great. Then I'll leave it.
I mean, I forgot about Donna's learning disability.
Spoiler alert. We'll find out.
Okay, yeah, save it. But Steve, I forgot his mom was very famous and he lives in that shadow.
Yes. So she was on Hartley House, which was, I believe, a huge sitcom that everyone loved.
And David's like, it was on at 6 and 10 and 9 and 5.
Your mom was perfect. She's the perfect mom. And Steve's like, oh, you don't know anything. So we know there's a little more to Steve than meets the eye.
And it all comes from, everyone's issue comes from the parents.
Oh, totally. Well, here's the thing is, Brenda and Brandon are the only people who have parents on this show. Everyone else, their parents are just rich, checked out. We literally, I don't think, ever meet Andrea's mom or dad. We meet her grandma.
Yeah, we meet her, yeah.
Who, her grandma is the same age as her, basically. I cannot, I just, there's so much fun stuff to get to. Okay, so we've met, I think, all the core characters. And at some point, David does say, the babes are outrageous, which made me laugh out loud.
He's so 90s.
So 90s.
And I'm going to say this, and I recognize it, but there's follow through in every scene. I really realized it in the car scene with Steve Sanders. Brian Austin Green is, out of everybody on there, is the best actor.
He's so good.
He's the best one. He's very natural.
I agree.
In all the, because everyone else is mugging or overdoing it or they're teen acting.
Yeah.
And he, while having the most kind of childlike, rambunctious things to do, business and everything, he's the best actor out of all of them.
Yeah. I do think they all do a good job of making these characters who, and I talked to Ian about this as well, on paper could feel very stock, you know, like, oh, Ian is the like stuck up rich guy who drives a Corvette. Kelly's the kind of slutty rich bimbo, you know,
and they make them real.
They make them real, and they do play them with such nuance and and kind of in unexpected ways. So I do like, but David, I was thinking that last night, he did something and I was like, he's a really good actor.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
It's when the car. When the car is rolling away.
Yes.
Which we'll get to later. He does like a this.
Yes.
And he's realizing that. And there's so many people that would look like and do that wrong.
Yeah. No.
Or play that. But yeah, like Kelly's subtle.
Yeah, they're all pretty grounded, I think.
Except for Tori.
Oh.
But they don't give her much.
They don't give her a ton to begin with.
Her first line is high.
But also later on, she did a line where they're calling Brenda's older boyfriend and hanging up, listening. She's playing his voice, outgoing voicemail for them, and Brenda's like, did you say hi? Did it beep? And Donna's like, no, it didn't beep. And it felt so real and natural.
Really, I'm bouncing around all over the place. But do you remember? Okay, because Donna's first line is hi.
Yeah.
Do you remember Andrea's first line?
No, what is it?
I am she.
Oh.
I am she. Because I think it's when Brandon's asking, are you Andrea Zuckerman?
That's so good.
Zuckerman? Okay, yeah. Are you Andrea Zuckerman, the editor? She goes, I am she.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's the first line.
It's so good. So much. Okay, so they're at school. They're at lunch. And what happens at any high school, I know, a plane flies overhead with a sign. Which is how I got invited to every party in high school. A plane would fly over with a sign.
With an advertisement.
With an advertisement for a party this Friday night.
With the address.
This bitch just puts her address, and it's not just going over the high school. This is going over
the city.
The city
over
of Los Angeles,
California. And then the best part is I Googled the address.
Oh, you did?
It does not exist. But the street does.
Okay.
So they left, same with Steve's house, because they gave his address.
Oh.
Which was 4203 something.
Okay.
Hers was 120 Summit.
Okay.
So there's 1200 Summit, but there's not 120 Summit.
Interesting.
And in Steve's case, it was 4203 something. I can't remember, but there's a 420 that street.
Oh.
However, in the scene where you see Andrea go home, the bus pulls up to
Gramercy.
Correct.
And that's not in Van Nuys.
Hollywood.
That's exactly what I Googled it. I Googled.
It's the 600 block of Gramercy.
I totally Googled
which
that.
is now, and then the house is 640 or 540 Gramercy.
Have you been to Andrea's house?
Now it's an apartment complex.
Okay, so the house is not there.
The house is gone, right?
Okay.
But anyway, so
we get this party invite.
The party that party house does not exist if you're a stalker and are trying to go out there.
That house looked insane, by the way.
Well, yeah, it's in the hills.
It's like a manor. It's like a...
Well, the spa.
The spa is crazy.
In.
It reminds me of have you been to the Houdini mansion?
Not yet. I've driven past it.
It's so cool.
You've been?
I did a short film that they got like part of the property as location.
Wow.
So I have been inside, and that it reminds me of her place where it just feels like this like forbidden. It's very lush, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so they get the invite. Everyone's going to go.
Yes.
Brandon's like, hey, Brenda, should we go together? Brenda is already best friends with Kelly and those other girls that we forget about quickly after.
Totally.
So Brenda already has plans to go. And I think this is a little bit of a role reversal because Brenda, doesn't she say something about like how Brandon was popular at the last school?
Because she has the chance to be somebody.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah, she has the chance to start over and she's not going to fuck it up.
No, she is not. And she is off to the races here because she's going with Kelly Taylor.
She landed on her feet.
She did. And Brandon's going alone, which made me sad.
Well, she invited him.
She did, but it was
kind of a girl thing.
It was kind of like when I went Machine Gun Kelly came. This will tie back.
No, I want to know.
No, Machine Gun Kelly came with Jelly Roll to the Comedy Store. Jelly Roll is good friends with Josh Adam Myers, and he had done the Comedy Jam the night before, and so we knew he might pop by at our next night at our show, Shimmy Shimmy Ya, and he comes and fucking Machine Gun Kelly walks in.
Wild.
And I'm just dying. And then everyone's like, oh, we're going to go hang with them after at the Rainbow Room. And I'm like, oh my God, yes. So I run home with Mitch with my cute little photographer friend, Rob Flo, who's like this cutie little 29-year-old. I walk in, I'm like, Mitch, we're going to the Rainbow Room to hang out with Machine Gun Kelly. You don't want to come, right? Like just flat out like, I'm kind of inviting you, but I don't really want you to come with us. And he was like, I'm okay, thanks.
Yes. Well, that's the nice thing because you need to give him an out.
Yes, exactly.
Also, he needs an out.
Yeah. I told him his out. And just like Brenda told Brandon his out. Okay, so we get to the party, right?
Oh, yeah.
Am I missing
No,
stuff?
I was just trying to remember. It was like that took place in the car.
Yeah, that was in the car.
And it was one of the things where he has a total zit right there. And I was like, oh,
he did?
Yes. And that was all I could look at in the scene. So sorry. I just flashed back to the zit.
You didn't pay attention. You were traumatized by the zit.
But so he does go along because he saw Steve. That's what I was trying to think.
Oh, right. He sees Steve on the way in.
Yes.
And he does the first of many Brandonisms in this moment where Steve says, hop in. And Brandon, does he open the door to this convertible? He sure does not. He literally hops over the side.
He Dukes of Hazzards it.
That's the thing is, anyone with a convertible, if you're a guy on 90210, you don't use a car door. You hop over.
Why bother?
Why?
Yeah. It's
too much time.
Totally. And
I'm just like, how strong are his lower abs that he's able to.
Also hop in. I'm like, aren't they already there?
Yeah, exactly. But I think the driveway is so long to this.
Well, there's a valet played by me.
Of course.
There's a valet played by actor Daniel Webb.
I love Daniel Webb as the valet.
But we don't get to meet her yet. Go ahead. Sorry, I am jumping.
Oh my God, so many. Okay, so we get in, we see everyone's kind of hanging, and then one of my favorite parts of the whole episode that I had not realized is, Kelly, Brenda, they're all there. And the other thing is Cindy goes out and talks to Kelly as she's picking Brenda up and is like, be home by 12. And she's just totally embarrassing Brenda.
I remember that moment watching it on TV because I related to it somehow. I just remember being like, oh, that would suck.
Yeah, that would suck.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
And the girls are like snickering.
The girl's like, oh my God, your mom cares about you. That's so lame.
One of my favorite things about Donna's hair, because that's all I know.
That's
all I can talk about, is there's always a real hard. Yes. There's always like a really hard comb, like hard hairspray. And then just kind of like fried.
Yes.
Like she didn't finish it, right?
No, she didn't. She really got into it and then
left the rest of it. And that's a theme. Honestly, her party hair was the same.
Her party hair was the same. And I love when they're talking, the girls at the party, and they're talking about Kelly's nose job. I sent you this stoned off my ass last night. And Kelly is like, yeah, thanks. Isn't it good? I wish I had gotten it when I was a sophomore, freshman. And she's like, and then they go to like talk amongst themselves, and Kelly pulls out the nose job brochure. I think I grabbed a picture of it, Aaron, if you could pull that up right there. She's literally brought a nose job brochure to a high school party.
And where she put it? She has no pockets.
She has no pockets.
No purse.
She's like, I literally brought nothing with me except this nose job brochure.
And this is actually just a great example of the hair I was talking about. If you look at Tori Spelling's hair, which I'm not dissing, it's very 90s.
It is so 90s.
But the other thing is at the photo on the left is where you barely hear her say it, but Kelly says like, I got that one, and points to the nose that she ordered.
Oh my God.
Yes.
What?
Yes. And then the best thing is, my favorite is, look at what good actresses she's surrounded by, because they all look very interesting. You know what I mean? They're all doing the work.
They are all doing the work. I mean, look, I love there are 3 noses. I mean, I don't know how I missed this when I watched with Mitch, and I did not clock this when we watched a couple months ago. So this was a real treat.
Yes.
For me.
Yeah.
But then Kelly spots Brandon and is like, oh, he's cute. So then we're like, okay, Brandon's getting incorporated into the group as well.
Let's dissect that moment for a minute, because it's when Brenda does an innocent wave to her brother, who's kind of awkwardly standing over there with Steve, and Kelly, you can see it in her eyes. She goes, who are you waving at?
Yeah.
Like there's a immediate opportunistic, like,
yes.
Who is that? How can I get it? Like, why do you know him and I don't?
You know what, Daniel? This is so refreshing doing this with you, because this whole time I've been watching with Mitch, he's been a little bit of a Kelly defender.
No.
And, yes. And I mean, to the point, and he's kind of shit on Brenda in like a way that did make me consider breaking up with him several times. But yeah, I'm so glad, because that's how I see. I'm like, she is opportunistic. Look, is she adorable? Yes. But I've had friends like her.
Yeah.
Where it's like they like you, but they really are doing something self-serving.
I'm a huge fan of Mitch, and I'm not trying to diss him at all, but I will generalize is that he is hypnotized by all the Kelly tactics.
I agree. I totally agree. I'm like, this is because you're a straight dude.
Yes.
You think she's cute. She's adorable. She has the baby voice.
I had a friend who was this mean old queen. I loved him. He was a bartender. Is he doing something terrible? No. He was a mean old queen, but the funniest person you ever met, which is usually how it goes. Are you
Oh, they're so funny. The meaner, the funnier.
The meaner, the funnier. And we were surrounded by college kids, right? And
yes.
That was the bulk of our customers.
Right.
And all the college kids were using fake IDs, and he was a bartender.
Sure.
So, and sometimes young women couldn't see that he was a flaming gay man and would try to flirt their way into a drink or flirt their way through a fake ID or what, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Try to sauce him up. And I saw him all the time. Be like, honey, I don't want to fuck you. So what do you want? Like he would try to cut through the cuteness or whatever he perceived as a manipulative, emotional, sexual tactic. Cause he was like, it's not going to work on me. And because it's true, Kelly's cute, she's blonde, and she's got all the stuff that would dupe a straight guy.
Yeah, it would, and it's duped Mitch through the fucking TV screen.
Straight guys are dupable.
They are dupable, and also I'm like, sorry, Brenda, who is like strong and assertive and knows what she wants and is upfront about it.
Minnesota values.
Yes, Mitch is like, Brenda's kind of a pain. She creates all this drama.
I will say, in the final scene, I was like. When Brenda starts feeling sorry for herself, I was like, you are the head case.
She is a head case.
You are the reason.
And I love it.
All of it. And she even gets consoled by her mom. I'm like, Mom, she's the problem.
Yeah, I know. Anyway, that is the thing is just like Brenda's always the problem.
I mean, yes. I'll give her that. But it's because she's surrounded by manipulative people.
She is, which is how it is living in LA. I'm sure you know.
And she's not even in stand-up.
She's not even in stand-up. Okay.
Okay, sorry.
So, no, it's fine. This is so fun. So this is my dream come true. I'm loving it. I'm living my Hollywood dream.
Yes.
Okay, so we get to the party. Brandon runs into Marianne, the owner of the house, who for the most part only wears cranberry shades. She wears so much maroon and burgundy. It's just like
she only wears crushed velvet burgundy.
But I love her. I think she's so hot. There she is on the right there.
Wow, look at that shot. That's literally the party scene.
Isn't that so good?
That is, though. That's literally them, what they wear to the party.
This is what they wear to the party. I don't know why Brenda is not there. She's out causing trouble or
Look
something.
at that. Where did you find that photo? That's the perfect one.
I just Googled pilot and found some of these. I mean, let's talk about the fashion for a second. First of all, redhead in the corner. Is that
look
not
at this? Oh my God!
To what I'm wearing, this
literally
kind of see-through thing, and then we've got Kelly in this lime green.
The color's very brat, but the fashion's a little off. Kelly never has. She's always off. It's like what Kelly's wearing should be on somebody else.
Yes, I agree. I feel like she gets it together a little later. They all kind of find their footing with their style. But I'm sorry, Donna has had killer style from the jump.
Yes.
She looks so good.
There's one episode where, and it's early on, where she has her hair like slick back flip. And she's in this little stripy, cute, very 60s.
Yes.
And she's without being like the over jewelried, over accessoried, like rich girl.
Yes. She's like funky and cool.
So the girl, Marianne, right?
Yeah, on the right in the crushed velvet.
In the 90s, I feel like she showed up in a few places.
She was kind of a hot 90s actress.
Yeah,
yes,
right?
She was. She was in a bunch of stuff.
But the one thing, and I remember this episode, I remember this scene, because there's things in a gay man's life where you see, like, there's a person where you're like, I don't know if I want to be her or I want her to be my girlfriend, right?
Exactly.
There's this weird blurriness because you don't know you're gay, but you know you're gay.
Right.
It's just, you're 8 and you're watching Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
But she changed the way I was. Like, I thought I needed to be like sultry. You know what I mean? That's what I thought the female in the relationship was like her.
Yeah.
Mainly because the only kind of acting she does is with her lips.
Yes.
She doesn't do any kind of other acting except for how she's positioning her lips.
That's so right.
Because there's a moment where she's being really carefree and wide smile, and then she gets really serious with her lips because they're about to make out.
I love it.
Yeah, but all of her acting is here.
It is, and her mouth is so like memorable.
She's beautiful.
She's beautiful, I think.
But she also has that like SpongeBob SquarePants like fish. You know the background fish on SpongeBob SquarePants, and they're all like this. She definitely has that going on. Not to body shame anybody. But all she does is act with that, and my favorite, and she also has that classic like Claire Danes, My Soul Called Life '90s look.
Yes, she does.
Because first episode of My Soul Called Life, there's also a huge party.
Oh, there's always a party. If it's a teen movie or a teen show and it's a pilot,
there's a girl in a gunny sack dress who's not having a good time.
Exactly. I have to agree, though. That dress of Kelly's is so ill-fitting.
All of it. There's nothing about it that's good.
It just reminds me of, like, there was a period of time where I was really into Free People, these, like, trapeze dresses.
Yes.
That looked great on the models, because the models are 5'11" and 6 feet and rails, and they just kind of, like, drapes on them. But on me at 5'4" and, like...
Yeah, you got to be, like, gangly. I mean, you still have to show... like TNA with those.
Exactly. And I just wasn't actually I think I've told you an MTV executive was like, this you have such a cute figure, don't wear these anymore.
Oh.
But she did me a favor.
Yeah, that's not.
And now look at me.
Look at this. I can't get over this outfit though. It really is like perfect. The high-waisted jeans with the cut with the like
I appreciate
haltery. That's really good.
Thank you.
Meanwhile, I'm dressed like it's
you look great.
40 degrees outside.
You look so cool.
Okay,
I know,
but sorry.
I'm barely wearing clothes.
But Marianne is like she's alone.
She's alone.
She's sad.
Sad and alone.
Her lips
moody.
are telling us that she's sad.
We know by her lips.
We're not lip readers, but we can see.
But we can see the emotion on her lips.
Sad about it. She is. That's how I'm going to be for Halloween is Marianne's lips.
I love we already have so many Halloween costumes to do.
Because the other thing is I wanted to be her with her kind of crazy hair and that dress.
Yes.
That's a look.
It is a look. Look, they're all looks. And Mitch and I are going through trying to pick out our Brenda Brandon costumes. And there are just so many. I mean, Brenda Dillon. We're doing Brenda Dillon.
Okay,
sorry. Yeah.
Well, it's too late. You can't be Marianne. You have bangs.
I know I have bangs. I have to be Brenda. My haircut dictates that I'm Brenda now. Okay, so he meets her. Obviously, she thinks he's cute. And then he finds out she's the owner of the house. And she's just this sad, brooding, rich girl who wears maroon.
He is really cute in that scene.
He's hot.
Yeah.
He's cute.
Yeah.
Every girl would want him if they were a teenager.
But this was the first scene I noticed his bangs.
Okay.
There's one where he has basically Melissa Etheridge hair. He has Rosie O'Donnell hair. He has it's because that's how you know he's Canadian.
Yes, that's how you know. That's the identifier.
He has like, is he a male with lesbian adjacent hair? Then that means he's Canadian.
Mm-hmm. They send you out like that. They're like, we have to mark you.
But she says one of my favorite lines ever in that scene
which one?
Because just because I'm popular doesn't mean I have to like everybody.
Oh, that's but it's true.
I mean, yeah, but I'm like, it's your house. Who hired the plane to fly the sign
exactly.
to invite all these assholes to your house just so you can hate it? Like
exactly. I love that she did the plane and then is like pissed and feels I'm lonely and no one loves me. I'm just this sad rich girl.
And then 10 seconds later, the scene is her on the diving board of the pool going, "Hey everybody, come!" What does she throw?
Oh, what does she? I was really stoned at this point.
She is on the diving board of the pool. She goes, "Attention everybody, go and get it," or something like that.
I actually think I may have filmed it on my phone
because then she's mistress of ceremonies, right? Because she has to be the life of the party, even though she hates it.
She's clearly very troubled. Here it is.
Oh, I fucking love that you have this on your phone.
She just started dancing. It's because she reminds me of my friend Caroline Goldfarb, who is on the show all the time. She's so great. And they just remind me of each other. Like they have similar hot vibes. And
her father's a rock and roll producer and her mom's a groupie. Caroline. I'm telling you, the pilot thrilled me.
The pilot is so fun.
It's a really good episode.
But what I'm telling you is there's so many more good episodes coming down the pike too. Like this is nothing compared to some of the just chef's kiss episodes.
Tip of the iceberg.
Seriously. Okay, so we're at the party, whatever. They kiss, I think, right? Oh no, are they? No, they go out on a date later.
Yeah.
He like gets her phone number. Whatever. We're done with the party. We move on. That's the thing is like, if this was
maybe they kiss.
I think they maybe kiss, but
she has to use those lips.
It's weird. It really does feel like two episodes put together. Because then you would think that it would just end at the party, but no. Then we go.
Yeah,
next
it's a
day
great
at school.
Cliffhanger, like the David Steve scene.
Exactly, and that's the thing. Thank you for reminding me. Steve is too drunk to drive, and David gets stuck driving him home.
Because his friend Scott was pushing the pool, so he's trying to find Scott. He finds his ball cap.
Yes.
And it's like, did anybody see a nerd, scrawny and wet?
Yeah.
And Steve simultaneously is getting kicked out of the party because he's been brown bagging whiskey.
Steve and I would have been really good friends in high school.
That's my favorite. Is he's bald, and then he goes and like harasses Kelly.
Yes, he does. Yeah, he's still not over Kelly. He's got complicated feelings.
But to be honest, Steve Sanders is such an straight guy. Like, even when he's drunk, he's that kind. Like, I've met that person.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? That drunk straight guy who just can't be like shut down.
Yeah. Absolutely.
And he's really good at it.
He's good at it.
But David has to drive him home, and that's when Kelly pulls up in her now it's polka dot. What color is her car?
I think it's still green
Zebra
for the
stripe?
pilot. Yeah.
And they're driving alongside, and they go, "Oh my god." Because a nerd is driving Steve's car.
Well, then I love
and Donna's missing.
Donna's missing. They've left Donna. I was like, I guess Donna drove herself. But they pull up to another stoplight, and a cop pulls up.
Oh, yeah.
And David throws on a helmet and football jersey and padding, which I'm assuming is Steve's. But later, we find out Steve is horrible at sports, and Brandon is way better at sports than him.
Oh, yeah.
Which makes no sense because Ian Ziering is 6 feet, ripped.
Yeah.
Looks very athletic. Jason Priestley is 5'8".
He's tiny.
He's small.
So I didn't realize how small he was until
small.
the jacuzzi scene.
Yes.
He looks minuscule.
He does. He looks like a teenager.
Yes.
Yeah.
I was like, those bubbles look really big, or Jason Priestley's really small. When they're in the spa later.
Still hot though. Still can get it.
But yeah, he does in an effort to throw the cops off because he's clearly a freshman. He bulks up by which is illegal. You can't drive with a helmet on. That's illegal too.
I'm like, that's gonna get you pulled over even more.
But the house that Steve lives in, which I tried to look at the number on it, right?
But I love that you're getting you're doing all the Zillow
because
research.
the house number doesn't match up to the number he says later.
Oh.
That number's a 5-digit.
We got a lot of continuity issues.
Well, they probably never thought it was going to happen.
Yeah.
But the house, it looks like a shopping mall. There's that white railing outside and everything. To me, 90s Daniel, I was like, that is like high quality rich people. That's what a mansion should look like. It should look like Northeast Mall food court.
The Northeast
at
Mall
night.
food
Do you know what I mean?
court.
Like, it should look like the Americana Courtyard under a moonlight.
Oh my God, absolutely. And that's what it looks like.
I'm so sorry. I keep interrupting.
No, you're great. This is a conversation. It's a dialogue. But we're at the beautiful house.
Yes. And David is helping the son of a bitch to the door.
Yeah.
Steve Sanders.
Yep.
And he says, "I'll never forget this night. Thank you so much," or
Yeah.
something like that. And then Steve's car rolls down the driveway.
He forgets that Steve's car is a stick. And I don't think he puts the parking brake on, and it does just fully roll and smash into something else. And what does David do?
He
really
runs.
good acting.
Yes.
And then he pieces the fuck out.
Yeah, he runs, which is what I would have done.
Me too. I ran over We'll stop.
Yeah, I had equally. I was as teenagers.
As a teenager, I hit something and left.
Same, and was in the car when my friends were driving and did something and scratched someone's car,
Yes,
things like that.
exactly.
And ran away screaming. 100%.
Yes.
So I found that very relatable.
I did too. That's the thing. Watching it, I'm rewatching it as an adult, having been to high school. I'm like, this was so spot on with the teenage experience.
Except for we were dumb and never had designated drivers. It was always just the person who was
the least,
who could say, "I drank less than you," would be the one who drove us home.
Totally.
But that was also my abusive point. I would be like, okay, fine, but I get control of the radio, and it was always Tori Amos.
I knew
every
you were
single
gonna
time.
say that. I knew you were
because
gonna
that's
say
the only
Tori
time people would let me do it. Do you know what I mean? It would be like I would be this like drunk brat, or we're going. That was because that was the only time I wanted it.
I love it.
Okay, so the party's over.
We're at school the next day. We could skip. Brandon asks what's her name out. Marianne. Kelly makes Brenda a fake ID in chemistry class.
With a pencil.
Just a pencil.
Yes.
Like it's so easy.
Yeah, and she's just trying to get the like handwriting right. I don't know what. She's trying real hard, but she's done it before.
And she calls herself an artist.
And she has a criminal enterprise. She has a nose job. She's got 4 cars.
She's got a million BMWs.
Basically, she's a mafia boss.
She is a mafia boss. And so cut to also Steve is actively and furiously looking for the person who crashed his car.
He's so drunk he can't remember who took him home.
He cannot remember.
Which I can't believe that becomes such a like epic part of the storyline because it's like everybody saw him getting kicked out. Everybody saw who gave him the keys.
How did no one know?
His friend even is like, "Don't fuck it up" or something like that.
Even Kelly was like, "I saw some nerd driving you home." She's the only one who can get information, but she's like some freshman. It's like. Go.
More clues,
please.
But he's furiously looking for him. David realizes it and is like fearing for his life.
Yeah, he is. He's wearing fedoras and sunglasses nonstop. He's in disguise.
And which is honestly my least favorite accessory could be a fedora on a male, but it's so cute on him.
He makes it work.
Yeah.
I'm with you. I hate it. I hate a fedora on a guy usually, but fucking David Silver.
Are you a man that wears a hat? Like, question number one, what are you thinking? Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. I know I'm also mad dogging
his dog is eating something, so he's also attempting to get that out. I think David's hat is hot. I know you said you didn't think David was cute. Look,
when he's incognito, it's the hat, the round sunglasses, the blazer.
Can we talk about his hair too, though? His hair is like full mushroom.
Mm-hmm.
It's like got volume and texture.
It's kind of messy. As a kid, I hated it.
Yeah.
But now I recognize it. I'm like, it's so good. Everything about David Silver is like spot on.
I totally agree. I'm so glad you're coming around on David.
I was not there. There wasn't one episode where I was like, I like him.
I know.
But today.
And now he's the best actor.
Yes.
He has the best style.
I'm telling you. And there's a subtlety to him because I appreciate his eagerness.
I agree.
You know, he's authentic.
He's got like a childlike wonder.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Which Scott is like, he's too hammy. That is me as an actor. You gotta understand. When I see bad acting, I'm like, that's me. So that's why I point it out so much. I sound like such a bitch, but that's only because that's the only kind of acting I'm capable of. Right. The kind that doesn't make it out of the pilot.
You recognize.
I'm the Spanish teacher. I'm the principal.
Wait, okay. Speaking of the Spanish teacher, though, so oh no, this is later. I'm getting ahead of myself. There's so much more left in this pilot, and it feels like we've already. So then let's fast forward. We're going on dates tonight, right? Mm-hmm. Okay, so Brenda is going to the 21 and Up club with Kelly. Mm-hmm. Brandon is going on a date with Marianne on her dad's motorcycle, which cue the next 45-minute long montage of
which
just
was
them.
Nuts.
It's literally just Mitch and I were the first time we watched it. We were like, "This is still going on."
It's that Kim and Kanye video.
Yes.
Where they're on the motorcycle the whole time and they're like switching seats. And
can you imagine if that was the?
Oh, it was.
Inspo?
Oh, it had to have been because that girl is early Kim.
She is early Kim.
She's very season 1, 2, 3 of Keeping Up with the Kardashians.
I totally agree.
1000%. But here is the shocker is when he's asking Andrea for like date advice or like where to go. Andrea Zuckerman literally says my fucking favorite place in Malibu, which is still open.
Wait, what?
Moonshine.
That's a real
total real place. Oh, we have to go.
Oh my God, we must go.
We have to go.
We should do an episode there.
Yes. Okay, and I'll tell you why because there's like seats by the ocean, right? You can like look at the sea, but there's a place where there's just like 5 bar stools.
Okay.
And you're facing the ocean.
Oh, that's nice.
And you just stare at it, and no one really is ever there, and it's like white tablecloth, like douchey Malibu.
Yeah.
But it's very there's a lot of I don't know if anybody like the thing about Malibu is it's money.
Yeah.
But it's so 80s.
Yeah. Oh, it's so 80s.
And a lot of the houses that are on and same with the Hollywood Hills.
Yes.
They're mansions, but they're mansions that were built maybe 40 years ago.
That's where Mel Gibson got drunk before the Sugar Tits DUI.
Oh my God,
Aaron! This is why you're part of the Glitterati hardcore squad. Okay?
Are you serious?
Oh my God!
Oh my God, I love it.
Just 90s, like just peak.
That
like,
is
pop culture places.
So what just came on screen is that is where Mel Gibson got drunk before the Sugar Tits DUI. Unbelievable. Okay, so anyway, but when Andrea said that, I couldn't because of all the addresses I was Googling that were fake.
I love it.
Moon Shadows was the one that was still real.
And it's called Moon Shadows?
Still to this day. It's right off the one.
But also, she didn't want to give that information away. She was like, longingly.
That's where
she's
she wants Brandon to take her.
That's where I want you to take me, Brandon. She's so but she's so obvious. She doesn't even try and hide how angry,
how horny she is for him.
Horny.
Yeah, she's horny for all of it, which comes out later.
Yeah, no, it does. Oh, it comes out
big time.
Just get ready,
big time.
Okay, so Brandon's taking her to Malibu, and they take a 45-minute long to a song ride there, and then Brenda is going out with the girls and. She's dressed up to the nines, and I think it's a school night.
Yeah.
She's wearing black tights. Like, black tights is so dressy to me.
Yeah.
Like, with a dress, like a black dress. Like, she's looking like she's going to,
I had a teenage cousin who died, which is not funny. It's sad. This is years ago. This is a long time ago. But he died, and he had a girlfriend, and she spoke at the funeral, and she dressed just like Brenda going to the 21 and Up club. It was like... You know when a kid has a vision of what like an adult looks like?
Yes.
That's what like Brenda looks like. She looks like a Hollywood like an Ann Miller.
Yes.
When an old like a 1930s star in the 80s.
Agree.
She
totally
looks like
agree.
like a Katharine Hepburn or an Elizabeth Taylor in the 80s. Like sequins.
Yes.
What teenager is wearing a sequin gown?
Meanwhile, she's a junior for the first time at West Beverly High.
Yes.
And they're like, oh, you look so dressed out just to go study. And she's like, she's like, I'm going to get something to eat with the girls. And she's like, it's just McDonald's. And it's like, bitch, why you're not wearing that to McDonald's? Like, just the lies are so obvious.
But the mom says the first Carol Potter thing where she goes, I haven't even seen a McDonald's around here.
Oh,
right? Doesn't she say that?
She does.
Which was a very real line coming from the mom.
I agree. And there is no McDonald's in Beverly Hills.
But they sneak out to the 21 and Up club.
And then only Brenda can get in.
Because which is, okay, there's a lot in this scene to unpack.
There's so much.
Because the bodyguard,
the bouncer, who he's an actor. Who is he? He's been in a bunch of stuff.
I didn't recognize him.
I forget, but yes.
He's eyeballing their IDs, and Kelly says, come on, we were here last week. And then they let Brenda in, and then he doesn't let her friends in.
Yeah.
So two things. Why doesn't he go chase the 17-year-old or the 16-year-old that he just let in that's clearly with them?
Right.
I couldn't understand that. And then they spoil it by going, Brenda, and like outing her as being with them. I don't know. It's all very fishy.
It is very fishy. Not the best bouncer, I will say.
He should be fired.
Well,
he doesn't make it past the pilot.
No, he does not make it past the pilot. Luckily, he booked some other roles down the line. But she gets inside, and this is like a who's who of like 40-somethings, all dressed to the nines. They're all dressed. Old. They're so old, and they're dressed like what you were just saying, like 1930s starlets in the 80s. Like,
I'll say this though, in all their defense, in last century, young people looked old.
Yes.
Right? When you were in your 20s, you looked like you were in your 40s.
Yes.
And it was just the way you dressed and the way people looked. Like the guy she hooks up with, or the man she meets.
Yeah.
He looks 40.
He does. He's 31. Oh, the bouncer is Jimin Hansu.
Oh, he's from Amistad.
Yes.
Shut the fuck up.
Exactly.
That is the perfect Hollywood story. Hollywood is such a mean game.
Isn't
that
it?
You are only playing the bouncer on the most famous TV show ever, and you're like, that was my shot. And then a fucking crazy movie like Amistad comes out that is a huge moneymaker.
Can I tell you?
You know him?
No. Can you imagine? No, I have another. This is, again, we haven't gotten here yet. Is way down the line, but Hilary Swank, obviously.
Oh, yeah.
I don't think you watched that era, but she got, I think, fired. She got let go from 90210. Her arc was like significantly reduced. She was supposed to be in way more episodes, and she was really bummed about it, but then she booked Boys Don't Cry and won a Golden Globe and an Oscar. So when one door opens,
she was very teeny.
Yeah.
I will say, okay, so up until this point in the show, party scene, everything like that, the pilot beats any 90s, like 10 Things I Hate About You, any of those movies, right?
Agree.
It's so much better than any of that.
Agree.
But it has all the same ingredients.
Oh my God. Also, I forgot to mention the club they're going to is called the Blue Iguana.
Yes, it is. That's because I forgot to look that up to see if that was actually a thing. I forgot to look. But yes, which sounds like
Like what?
What? That is a very 30-something-year-old club.
It is.
Do you want to go grab a martini at the Blue Iguana?
And also, she's in here. She must look half everyone's age.
She does.
And she meets this guy, Jason, who is 25 and a lawyer. The way she says lawyer is so weird.
Lawyer. She's Canadian.
Okay. Yeah. So
Is she?
I don't think so.
Okay, never mind.
Okay. But she meets this guy and he's 31 in real life, but he looks fucking 45.
He has American Psycho written all over him.
He does, but he was in, you haven't seen Empire Records, right?
No, I refuse to.
That's so he was in that.
I refuse to.
He played like a washed up, like hot pop star guy.
He has like a like mathematically symmetrical jaw. His jawline is fascinating. It's not like but it's just like I kept looking. I was like, it has corners.
Yeah, the Blue Iguana is a strip club in the Valley in a Daryl Hannah movie. I love it. That's what it sounds like.
Yes, it really does.
That's so good.
There's so much in the way that they make Andrea's Hollywood neighborhood look like she's in fucking Van Nuys or some shit like that, or Watts. They try to make it really look like she's far away. That's what I love about same as Clueless. Every time they try to make them seem like they're way far away, they're literally in Burbank.
Yeah, for
like
sure.
all those things, they're totally in Studio City.
It's so funny. I just love also the bus when. Just to go back to very quickly, it just says in big letters, Van Nuys. Yeah. Oh wait, we haven't gotten to that yet because this pilot is so fucking long.
That's him?
Maxwell Caulfield. That's the name of the actor who plays Jason, the 45-year-old who is romancing Brenda. And he's the star of Grease.
Shut the fuck up.
Yes.
That's him?
Yes, that's him.
I want a cool writer. Oh my God. That's why he looks I'm sorry, I'm screaming. I have to push the microphone away.
He was in a lot of stuff.
That is that guy.
Yes.
Because in Grease 2, he looks 40.
Yeah, he just, someone who just has 40 face. He just always looks 40.
40 face? That's what I have. Grease 2, because Grease 2 is in 80 what? Sorry, I have to keep fact checking everything. That's 100 years before this airs.
Oh, yeah, it was before it. Also, I keep saying, like, they look 40, and I'm literally 39 and a half.
Yeah, but I'm 42. I cannot believe that's that actor.
Isn't that funny?
Today has been mind-blowing.
No, it has been.
I think Brian Austin Green's a good actor.
So many things. Up is down, down is up today.
Wow.
Yeah. Okay.
Imagine sharing scenes with Michelle Pfeiffer.
Yeah.
And then years later, you're with, like, teenage unknown Shannon Doherty. Like, what is my career going? Do you know what I mean? That couldn't have been a moment for him.
He's married to Haley Mills' sister, who is very old. Wow.
But wait.
I love how much Aaron is digging into.
Hold on.
Maxwell Caulfield?
We just watched a movie. What are you barking at, Doug? He's barking at literally nothing.
The dog is literally growling at the wall.
We just literally watched, is it Trap, that M. Night Shyamalan movie?
Oh, with Josh Hartnett?
And Haley fucking Mills.
Oh, yeah. Haley Mills isn't. I loved it. I thought it was full camp. It was so dumb.
Oh, did you? I can't stand him. He's the reason I stopped going to see movies.
Oh, see, I liked it because it was campy.
So I guess I'm taking his movies too seriously.
Yeah. No, I went in full. This is camp.
Okay.
You got to go in with that.
When I saw, what is it? Unbreakable. Literally, I saw that in real time in the movies. And I was like, I'm never going to see a movie ever again. Lemmy.
You're okay.
I got so distracted. I'm sorry. Anyway, Haley Mills. Okay, so that guy's married to Haley Mills' daughter.
Sister,
Haley Mills, because in Aaron's note said who's very old. You know that original Saved by the Bell was called
Good Morning, Miss Bliss.
And Miss Bliss was Haley Mills, who's an ancient Disney star.
Man, I think, did we just like unlock a secret of the universe?
You blew my mind because you know the original Parent Trap, not Lindsay Lohan, was...
Girl, you know
Haley
Mills. The original Parent Trap was Haley Mills.
My
Are
God.
you fucking kidding me?
Okay, so Max Caulfield is the actor who plays Jason and is Brenda's date.
Yes.
And he's in Grease 2.
And he's in Grease 2 and Empire Records, which you refuse to see.
Sorry, I won't watch it.
That feels like such an on-brand movie. Like if there's one movie where I would be like, oh, Daniel loves this movie.
I'm team Reality Bites. I'm team Singles.
Got it. Okay. Okay. So they're at the
my mind is blown.
30s and over club where they only play like 80s power ballads. That's like the only music that's playing.
It's November Rain the whole time.
And people are like grinding on each other.
Yes.
They're like dancing, but it like doesn't go with the music.
Again, there was a thing when I was going to clubs underage, when I was blue iguanaing as a kid, I thought in a room full of people with a DJ and everybody's dancing, I did think it was the male role to single out a girl and ask, do you want to dance?
Interesting.
Like, like towards each other. Right?
Want to
like,
gyrate in
at
each
me.
other's
Yeah. Do you want to dance at me? As opposed to with the whole room.
Right.
Because I remember doing that.
Yeah.
Like being a kid, and we'd be in a room and there'd be a girl be like, do you want to dance?
Yeah.
And then you would just dance with each other. But that's actually not what you're supposed to do. Girls would be like, no.
It's so
that's
funny.
Not how life is.
Well, actually better that than just the secret humpers that come up and like, or sometimes they'll shadow hump you where they're not touching, but it'll look like you're dancing with them.
Yeah, men are disgusting.
Men are gross. Okay, so she tells him she's a student at UCLA.
She lies.
And I lied about my age when I was younger.
Totally.
And now that I realize, I'm like, that was so fucked up. I could have gotten someone arrested.
We went to a gay bar specifically to see who could get more shots bought for them. My beautiful friend who could dance or me who looked underage.
Who won?
It was always Michelle because she could dance.
Okay, Michelle.
And I was just this gangly kid being like, will you buy my shot? Like, I didn't have the game to follow up with it. But we were both there to get
free
adult men to buy us alcohol.
I had one friend who was a little Brenda-like in that we would go to concerts. She always wanted to leave with like old dudes. Like we went to Dave Matthews Band and she'd be like, we're going to these guys' loft later. I was like, bitch, we're 16. We're not going to anyone's loft.
There is an episode of Roseanne that deals specifically with this, season 5. We'll talk about it later.
Oh my God.
There really is.
When we get to the Roseanne rewatch, we'll talk about it.
I'm here for it. I'm definitely here for it.
I love it. Okay. So, what I love about him taking her home, he drives her home and he drops her off. He's pulling up. He's like, this looks like a church. And she's like, oh, the house is right next to it. She says she lives in a sorority house.
Yes.
And then she just kind of stands there and waves. And
Another lie.
Another lie. And she says she doesn't have a phone.
Another lie.
So many lies.
Which you could kind of get away with in the 90s.
I was just going to say that. People didn't have access to you all the time the way we have now.
Which was a fucking blessing. Do you understand? There was a time where people couldn't get a hold of you, and that was beyond okay.
Yes.
It was normal.
It was normal.
Yes.
But what I love and what was confusing was she then calls a cab to take herself home.
A cab from the not only does she call a cab, she calls a time machine.
Yeah, she does.
It's a cab from Dick Tracy.
It is.
Is driving her home. But here's the thing about...
What phone did she use?
Brilliant question.
That's my thing. I'm like, bitch, you don't have a cell phone.
Well, there were payphones.
I guess.
I'm
Did
sure
she walk to a payphone?
Sorority house one.
This is very unsafe. I'm feeling Cindy Walsh level concern right now.
But the best thing is, here she's making all these mistakes. She's lying to this adult guy, and yet he is not a serial date rapist. He is not a creep.
He's not.
Even though he doesn't know that she's a child.
Yeah.
But he has all these opportunities to be a manipulative adult.
He does.
And take advantage, and yet he's being a gentleman and playing by her rules.
Oh, absolutely.
Meanwhile, she takes that as a sign to continue her manipulative ride.
I know.
Because what does she want out of this? Is she trying to sleep with him?
Well, later in the episode, she's talking about how she might sleep with him and if she should tell. And Kelly's like, are you in love with him? I'm like, you've known him for like 3 days.
Here's the other thing is Kelly, in all of her wisdom, says, if he really loved you, then he would understand. I'm like, understand the lies and manipulation about how she's presented herself as not a child.
Yeah, and also it's illegal.
Yeah.
She's not like about to be 18. She's 16.
Yes.
And she's going to be 16 for 2 more years while they figure out what year of high school they're in.
So now he's this like unloving, heartless son of a bitch if he doesn't forgive her complete lies and manipulation.
Right. So, okay, let's just get into that since we've unpacked it, and then we'll wrap up the Brandon storyline, and then we'll wrap the episode up.
Sure.
But okay, so she decides to tell him. She goes out on a couple more dates with him, goes out with his friends and says she's an astronomy major.
Where does she pull that?
I don't know.
My favorite, the friends, they're fucking great. He's acting with this wine glass, the friend.
Yeah.
He's like, tell me more about what's a black hole. And it's like, it's his emotional prop.
Oh, it's so good.
And he keeps drinking from it like that. That's my favorite kind of acting.
Me too.
That kind.
Where it's like very prop acting. Some people are mouth acting. This was a prop.
Yes, he's so good. He is an example of 90s fashion that doesn't work on people, right? His glasses, his blazer, which totally works on David, does not work on that person.
Does not.
In the times, that did not read as stylish to me.
No.
That kind of jeans, t-shirt tucked in, blazer, oversized, ball cap, all the male 90s stuff, it looked G-A-Y-F-A-G. It read super gay to me. But anyway, I loved the scene at dinner where she's trying to fake being an astronomer.
Oh my God, I loved it.
Like, there's nothing about her that reads interested in science.
No.
Like, nothing.
Nothing. So they go out a couple times, right? And then...
Yeah. He takes her to these nice places.
Oh, and then he's supposed to spend... She keeps like, oh, I'm going to spend the night. And then the night she's going to spend the night, she tells him at dinner... He, rightfully so, gets pretty upset that he's been dating a child.
He's actively committing crimes.
Yes, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, this is a crime. And she's like, why are you being so mean to me? It's like...
This is when I side with Mitch. I'm like, Brenda, you have to understand where he's coming from.
She does not understand. And then my favorite part is he drops her off and he's like, Brenda, even though he's the one completely not in the wrong, she is. She goes, don't speak to me. And she's like, don't talk to me again. I never want to see you again. And then slams the door and runs in.
Well, before that, she goes, don't you know how hard it's been on me? Like, keeping the act going, right? Or she's like trying to be like, it's been hard being a lying, manipulative teenager.
She really does like to play different characters. I mean, with Rick and Paris.
Oh, man. Okay, sorry. So Marianne.
Yeah.
So does that girl.
Oh, Marianne.
Her personality arc is all over the place as an actress.
Oh, shit, we got to get back to that.
Because there's a lot. Well, we can get back to, because they have their date.
Okay, they go on their date, whatever, it goes well. They make out in the hot tub. She's trying to fuck, and he's like, no, because he's a virgin.
Which is so, they're making out, and she goes, let's take all of our clothes off.
Yeah.
Which honestly is a very TV way of saying let's fuck, which I
exactly.
loved the way they took it.
Yeah.
And Brandon, who...
That's funny because Jason also says to Shannon, she's like, what are you doing? And he goes, I'm taking our clothes off. Like, so that must have been code.
Okay, wait. I'm sorry. I'm jumping around. I have to go back to the date where she says that. Brenda?
Yes.
Because they're making out by the bubble machine.
Yes, the bubble machine. Oh my God. I wrote down, what is this bubble machine?
You don't remember that? That was a total phase.
It was like where it was just like bubbles.
Yes.
Like, yeah.
Did you ever go to the store, the Sharper Image?
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, yes, in there.
Yes. It was like
serve no purpose.
The adult Gadzooks.
Yes. Okay, yes.
It was like Forever 21 before that. So yes, there was a moment where you didn't have an aquarium, you just had a bubble machine.
Yeah.
But they're kissing and hardcore making out, and she's happy to be there, and then all he does is this.
He literally
and immediately she's like, what are you doing?
What are you doing? He slightly pulls this like off the shoulder a little further down.
Which no means no, but I don't know what she thought was gonna...
What did you think was happening? You're at a 45-year-old man's home with a bubble machine.
And she also ordered, which I've never even thought of in my life, a banana daiquiri. The bartender's like, what do you have? Because this is like a test of her age. Is she really 21? And he orders an adult beverage, like a martini or some shit. And she's like, I'll have a banana daiquiri, which I've never even heard of.
I don't think that's
what bar has a banana?
The Blue Iguana.
The Blue Banana.
Only the Blue Iguana.
So, but I love that she starts feeling sorry for herself at the end of their date, even though she's the manipulative monster.
She is. She does not get it. Look, I fully have friends like this though, where it's like you are clearly in the wrong, but you're blaming everyone else.
Oh yeah, I had a friend who faked a pregnancy to keep a guy with her for like a couple more months, and then spilled the beans and couldn't understand why he went ballistic.
She said she lied.
Yeah, she told him, well, because
that you could just be like, oh, I lost it.
Right. So it was in that part where the story fell apart. And there were just inconsistencies in that part. And she was like, I don't get why I was like, you don't get why he, like, she couldn't together. So in real life, that shit bites you in the ass.
Yeah, it
right?
does.
You don't get a ride home from the dude.
No, he's driving her home. I would have been like, bitch, figure it out.
See you later.
Bye.
Also, I would have walked the check if I was him.
Yeah.
Be like, call your parents and have them pay for this shit.
I know.
Like, yeah.
I thought he was a real gentleman, even though he fully looked like someone who was about to commit statutory rape.
So is jacuzzi night the same night as their date to Moon Shadows in the
Yes.
Motor? It's all the same night,
Yes,
right?
that's the same night, even though it is 9 years long.
It's the longest sequence. Yeah.
I'm just thinking about, like, as I was watching it, I was like, oh, it's long. But then I was like, this is like 14 plots in one.
They really lay it out there. And one of the stupid plots is that the principal talks to the Spanish teacher in the office about how all the kids are making bad grades because she's forcing them to speak
won't
Spanish
let anyone
only.
speak English.
And she's like, you have to live Spanish. You have to know Spanish.
Yes.
And then she takes his hand and puts it on her heart and she goes, you have to love Spanish
Yeah.
or something like that. Feel Spanish.
Yes.
And she goes, let me see what their grades are like in 6 weeks. And then he goes, how about Saturday night?
Yeah.
Which is illegal.
Yeah.
You cannot ask your employee out
Yeah, that's absolutely
in the
true.
confines of your office.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Anyway, meanwhile, that's going on. They're still on their date.
Oh, they're still on their
Brandon
date.
and Marianne are still
Well,
in the
they go on their
jacuzzi.
date. She tries to fuck. He's like, no, let's just talk. You don't need to do that with me. She's like, well, I feel like everyone expects it from me because I'm like rich and popular and hot. Everyone
Totally.
expects. And I'm like, I get it. Been there. But
We've all been Marianne.
yeah, we have all had Marianne phases. But so nothing happens. They go to school the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Brandon's running track. He's he's in gym class or something.
Yeah.
And oh wait, no. First they're in Spanish and he gets roses from Marianne.
Oh, yeah, because that's how rich people roll.
Exactly.
You order roses and send them to other students.
So everyone in this school, Andrea is not happy about it, of course. But this is even the Spanish teacher makes the flower delivery guy speak Spanish.
Yes.
I'm like, this woman is so hardcore.
And luckily, he can.
He can.
Right.
Luckily, he knows Spanish.
But what Steve says something in that moment, like, you must be a killer.
Oh,
or,
yeah,
you must
killer
be a
in the
monster.
sack. Yeah, everyone thinks that he
He's
gave her the
horny
good dick.
king. Yeah, yep.
So then he's at gym class and two guys roll up and they're like, hey, are you the guy that went out with Marianne?
Because it's day 2. It's
day 2.
West Beverly, right?
Yes,
it's
exactly.
The first, and that's Brandon, while they're in track practice, he's on like last name basis. Like, I don't know, Marino.
Yeah.
Like they're all like they're already on that like jockey friendly level.
Exactly. We've advanced so far.
We've been friends for years.
1.5 days they've been at this school.
But he implies, well, he just says, use your imagination.
He said something along the lines of, if I told you what I did with Marianne, you wouldn't believe it. Or something like that. He says something where he doesn't say they hooked up, but he implies that they did when really they probably wouldn't believe it because they did nothing. So he's not really lying, but he's kind of
not denying.
Not denying.
Right. He's just leaving it out there.
Yeah. So then he goes to get a drink at the water fountain. And within 30 seconds, this rumor has completely spread because from the time he says something to the time he walks to the water fountain, which is about 30 seconds, someone comes up and is like, hey, are you the guy that gave it to Marianne?
Heard you scored on Marianne.
Yes.
What's her last name? Musgrave or something?
I forget what her last name is.
It's something like
but
that.
Something like that. Marianne Musgrave.
There was...
And then Brenda in the car is like, everyone's talking about it. So
the whole school is talking about
was
it.
set ablaze by the West Beverly Blaze.
There was a girl I went to high school with who was older than me, and she was really sweet, and she was like totally clean, wholesome, and that's what people loved about her. She was homecoming queen, but funny, everybody's friend. There wasn't really anything like just nice, very normal, but popular. People loved her.
Right.
Goes off to college, comes back as the homecoming queen, right? The returning, which
Right.
is a thing at a pep rally
Right.
and all of that. And I was excited because my friend was coming home, right? And their first period, there were inklings, the rumors that she was pregnant, right? Which was like a shock because that was not the kind of person that she was. And then as the day went on, that rumor just literally got bigger and bigger, is that she was like, everybody was talking about it. So come time of the pep rally, I found her in this like a gym room on the side, right? And I hadn't seen her all day. I couldn't wait to see her, and I burst through the door, and before I can be like, she goes, why does everybody think I'm pregnant? And she's in tears because all day she's coming back to her alma mater, and the whole school is ablaze that she is having, which she's not.
Oh my God, she wasn't.
But that is how life was. It was like, it literally, like,
I mean, just a step to the water fountain, and
to the point where
everyone
she
knows.
couldn't make her appearance at the pep rally because
Wow.
she was too emotionally wrecked. Yes.
Wow.
So that was what came back to me. I don't
Okay,
want to
so-
name the girl.
Okay, so this is a
It
little
was
more
real
plausible.
life,
It's real
yes,
life. Okay,
yes.
I went to an all-girls school, so sometimes I don't know.
But tin roof.
Oh, rusted.
That is the best part.
Oh, it's so good.
It's so good.
I
Love
it.
Shack, baby.
Love Shack, baby.
Um,
Okay. Ooh, yeah, Jason says I did something that most guys couldn't handle. That's what he says.
Yes.
Okay, so that happens. Everyone knows. Brandon gets it back into school. It's hard to keep track of the days here, but Brandon gets back in and he's met with Marianne, and she is wearing black today. So you know she is pissed. She means business.
Because the day after the party, she's still wearing the party dress.
She's always wearing burgundy.
She wears that maroon thing. It's the same dress.
Oh my God, that's so funny.
But you're right. She's wearing an emotionally reactive dress.
Exactly.
And
She's
it's
like,
black.
I'm in mourning because I've been hurt. Marianne gets all mad. Brandon, everyone's mad. Andrea is pissed at Brandon.
The DJ announces that they fucked. Andrea gives him what for in the classroom and says, I can't believe you would exploit a woman like this, and lets him have it.
Yeah, he lets him have it. And then basically he gets on the radio and announces that nothing happened.
Yeah.
And all that stuff, and clears his name, then follows Andrea home because she still won't talk to him. And that's where he finds out she lives in Van Nuys.
In Hollywood.
On
Gramercy.
On Gramercy. Even though she has a perfectly nice house, it's not like, it's like a normal sized house.
But if he lets out Andrea's secret, she's not getting into an Ivy League school.
She's not going to be able to go to Yale.
Because West Beverly is unfortunately the best school in Los Angeles.
It is. It's very cool and hip, and also the best. It gives the best education.
So David is exposed as the guy who crashed Steve's car.
Yes.
And what else? That's it.
I think that's it.
Yeah.
I think that's all of the million plots that happen.
Brandon and Brenda have an incestuous scene in the bed where they both realize that they're gonna be fine after all. They might just make it.
I know. Brenda's like, Brandon, are we gonna make it here? And he's like, I think we'll be okay.
I think we will, Bran.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it, guys. What do you think? Leave us your comments. Email glitterandgarbagepod@gmail.com. Let us know your thoughts.
Donna Martin has 4 lines of dialogue the whole show. So what's your favorite? A, B, C, or D?
Mine was K. She said K in Spanish class.
Yeah, she did.
And then was like C, and I was like, oh, I'm living for Donna speaking Spanish.
This was so fun.
And you guys, we'll see you next time on Glitter and Garbage. Bye.
Bye.